apply with our knives. So right here we have our knives, our palette knives, or spatula, whatever you want to call it. And we're just applying it randomly throughout the entire piece. Just making sure that it's spread out throughout the entire canvas. And then we're going to come back and make our, what I like to call, peaks and valleys and voids to give us that real nice textured look. It is very important that we use caulk and not silicone, because with regular caulk you go ahead and paint over it, prime over it with water-based acrylics, which you cannot do with silicone. Silicone is more of a, not so much like an oil base, but it has more of a petroleum base, and you cannot go over it with a water-based acrylic paint. So we continue to apply our texture medium. That's more of a fancy word. And we're spreading it out all throughout. One tube of caulk is perfect for a painting this size, which again, it's 40 by 30 inches. And once we apply the last of it, we're going to come back with a different size palette knives. We got small, medium, and also we're going to use our notched rubber wedge, which I will show you later on how to use it and what we're doing with it. So right now we're just digging in some random lines. Now that we have all of our material spread out, we're going to take some of it off our spatula with our knife and just dab into it. So we're lifting the material off the canvas and then skimming through it. And by skimming through it, it allows us to have those peaks and valleys, those little crevices that create interest to the painting, and it's just a nice texture feel to it. So just tapping into it, lifting up the caulk, and then going through it with a slight skimming motion to smooth it out. Smooth out actually, just like the top of it, and then have those little crevices stay within the painting. So what we're gonna do now is come back with our larger palette knife and remove some of the material, and then reapply it somewhere else. Take some more off of here. And adding it here. And then as you can see, we're creating a little bit more interest, some lines, some more texture. Apply the excess to the lower right portion, a little bit here. We're not letting any of it go to waste. If we're removing some, we're reapplying it somewhere else. So it's just a matter of having a surface area where it's not all applied evenly, just making random patterns throughout the entire piece. With our flat spatula, once again, we smooth out this area here. You just experiment with it. The nice thing about it is that the material stays wet for a very long time, so you're able to work with it and try different techniques of patterns throughout, and if you're not happy with a certain area, you just go and remove it or add more, and just start in that area all over again. So again, we lifted it up some more of the material and smoothing the top of it out with our flat spatula. Making some lines, carving in some lines into the caulk horizontally right there. And I'm just experimenting as I go along, you know, and if I like the way it looks, I keep it. If not, I go over it and smooth it out again or add some more. But it's just a matter of experimenting with the different knives, the different spatula, and see if you're happy with the way the texture is coming out. We do the same thing here. Just at random areas. Carving in more lines, up and down. And I'm just testing new things and see how it comes out. Here's our notched wedge, a rubber wedge, and it works real nice just to make random lines all at once. I think it gives you like 7 or 8 lines that you could create by removing some of the material, and it gives you more of a multi-line uniform look. Okay, so again, I got some extra material on my palette knife. I remove it with a smaller knife, and I'm just gonna whip it onto the canvas and just remove this little excess here. And I have a nice little circle glob, or whatever you want to call it, that is just going to add more texture, different type of element to the painting. And here it is again. Again, when it comes to texturizing your canvas, it's just a matter of trial and error, trying different things. What makes you happy, you keep. What doesn't make you happy, you remove or you add something else instead. You go over the entire piece, inspect it, and see if there are any areas that you would like to add or remove. We put a little circle here, why not?